Hello, and welcome to our very first live stream. I am Kelly, and I will be your host this afternoon. And boy, do we have quite the show for you guys today, as well as a chance to win an incredible guitar, so make sure you stick around for that. But first, you might have noticed that some things look a little different around here, namely this, also my attire, and that is because we rebranded! Yay, pretend there's confetti. So thank you guys for sticking around through our rebranding and celebrating a brand new era of music making with us. And even though our aesthetic might be a little different, we're still the same AMS that you know and love, and you can still find all your favorite gear over at the new and improved AmericanMusical.com. Now, on to today's program. We have the pleasure of witnessing AMS's very first open mic today. Applause! We have assembled a bill of 6 musical acts for you today. They're each playing 2 songs. And in between our acts, you guys are going to get to come along with us as we take you on a little retrospective through some of our favorite content that we've made this year. So, without further ado, presenting AMS's very first open mic, here is Charlene.
My name is Charlene Hartman.
And what do you do at AMS?
I am a merchandising associate.
What does that mean?
I list items on Amazon. I just set them up and make them look nice on the website. I've been working here for 3 years. I have been singing like my whole life. I did theater in high school, and so that was kind of the core of music for me. So I was doing music at my first school, and then I transferred to a different school and did music business. So I kind of leaned more into music. I almost did theater, but then I liked the music side more rather than acting. I really wanted to just focus on music. So I used to perform way more in high school and then like my first college, but then I kind of stopped, especially the pandemic. The pandemic kind of cut everything off and I just stopped doing anything. And it was literally after the pandemic that I wrote the first song that I released ever. It's my first ever release. And this year I really want to try to like go out more and perform now. Like I'm trying to make it a thing. I want to be a singer. So I'll be performing with the Shernexidine. The first song, Drama Queen, which was original, Iris A., my friend, she produced it for me, so she created that one. And then the second song, All I Wanted by Paramore, my friend wanted me to cover it. Christopher Dunn, he created the backing track for that. The original song is actually about mental health. It's about feeling like your emotions and things that you're feeling aren't good enough for everyone to know about. Like, if you're feeling upset, you're thinking like, oh, everyone else has it worse. So you just kind of not think about how you're feeling in the moment and like push it down. But you should just like feel those feelings and, I don't know how to explain it. Like feel those feelings and like acknowledge them. Don't like ignore them, pretty much. You're not being dramatic is what it is pretty much about. You can find my music on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere where you can listen to music. It's on everything under my name, Charlene Hartman.
Sometimes I want what I shouldn't, and sometimes I don't want what I need. Every day I struggle about it, wondering when I'll be able to see. It's hard to feel loved when all you felt was pain. It's hard to break a heart that's already been shattered and stayed. I hope this hurt subsides, 'cause I'm tired of fighting this fight. I've heard it a million times. It gets better. Well, does it ever? Maybe I just love the drama. Well, at least that makes me a queen. But now my throne's getting dusty, and this crown's weighing heavy on me. It's easy to feel alone when every day is the same. It's easy Does it ever, oh, does it ever tell me when will it not be exhausting to be who I am? When will I start resisting and fight for my hand? There is no shining armor to save me now. What am I supposed to do if I never get out? I hope this hurt subsides, 'cause I'm tired of fighting this fight. I've heard it a million times. It gets better. Will it ever?
Awesome job, Charlene.
Thank you.
That is an original song, correct?
Yes, it
Can you
is.
tell me about the writing process for that song?
So it was a dark time in my life, and it's writing to me is like writing in a journal. So it was kind of just getting all the feelings out and then structuring it into what it is now. But yeah, it's the best way to get like my feelings out is writing music.
I absolutely agree, and I feel like we all feel it.
Yes, for sure.
Wonderful, wonderful job.
Thank you.
And her next song is All I Wanted by Paramore.
Think of me when you're out there. I'm big and nice from my knees. And when the world treats you way too fairly, it's a shame I'm a dream. All I wanted was you. All I wanted was you. I think I'll pace my apartment a few times and fall asleep on the couch and wake up early to black and white reruns that escape from my mouth. Whoa. All I wanted was you. 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 I could follow you to the beginning, just to relive the start. Maybe then we'd remember to slow down. All of our favorite parts. All I wanted was you. 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 All I wanted was you.
Charlene,
Thank
that's
you.
such a hard song to sing, and you kill it every single
Thank you so
time.
much.
She was in here rehearsing this at like 10 a.m., belting those notes out. Absolutely nuts.
Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic work. The next thing you guys are going to see is a clip from one of my favorite interviews that I've done, the John 5 interview.
So in honor of our rebranding, we thought, what a better time to take a retrospective look at some of the content we've made over the past year. So here's a clip from our John 5 interview that Ryan and I did last year.
But it was right before COVID. And I was in Washington, and I got sick. Are we going to hold him?
In this moment, I had no idea what was about to happen.
Come here, Churro.
I thought you were playing a joke on me. Clearly, I'm a dog fan because I was so happy. And like in some of the comments too, they're like,
The cape
I think
is
this
the
guy
best
likes
part.
the dog too much.
It's like me and Game of
Thrones.
My angel.
Hey, it's Kelly and Ryan from AMS. We're here at the Gramercy Theater, and
I remember them walking around with the dog before the interview and thinking, well, they'll keep it in the back.
But
like,
no.
no, we're gonna bring him out.
And then he gave us guitar picks with churro on them.
I
That was
still have
cool. I
those.
still use mine.
That's right. Everyone needs a churro pick.
Of course.
And an infamous ray gun.
Oh yeah, the ray gun.
That's right.
Awesome to be here with you, John.
That was a fun time.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect from him, but it was great.
I read that you were initially inspired by the banjo playing on Hee Haw
That's right.
when you first started out.
That's right. There was a kid named Jimmy Henley who was the banjo champion in 1976, and he was on Hee Haw with Roy Clark. And Roy Clark was introducing him and said, "Oh, this is the banjo champion," and blah, blah, blah. And they play.
He was like a total geek for banjo players.
Yeah.
And I think he would have talked about that more than anything if you'd just let him go.
Right, yeah. You wouldn't expect that if you just listened to his discography, you know?
Yeah, you would, or look at him. And,
Yeah,
hey, that
right.
guy's clearly a banjo player.
I just recently.
And it seems like he's like a real student of like all stringed instruments, you know? He really knows his stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that it's also a testament to the fact that as much as he looks like a rock star, like he's probably about as wholesome as it gets. He seems
Right.
like he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do it. He's like a vegetarian.
It's so weird, you know?
So why not banjo?
Well, because, you can't get many ladies playing banjo.
It's really all about the ladies at the end of the day.
Well, not really, but it's all a thing. But, did you ever date a banjo player?
No, but
There you go.
I probably would, but I'm a
There you
nerd,
go.
so.
That's right. Well,
Wait, you've never dated a banjo
He
player?
asked me, does your husband play banjo? I was like, I don't even have a husband, sir.
Playing like the banjo rolls and
Actually,
things
I
like
play banjo tonight.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to play banjo tonight for the show. Yeah.
that. Double neck?
Hmm?
Like a double neck banjo?
No, I bring it out and get the old mandolin too and all sorts of different instruments. So
It was cool to see him in the city. I would love to get him in here for a jam. Like at some point,
Yeah,
I
that would
think
be
that
awesome.
would be up on the bucket list. Because what would we ask him to play?
the wood.
Pretty much, I mean, I feel like he can play anything.
Right. Like, would we do like Foggy Mountain Breakdown, or would we play like
That would be awesome.
or like some Sabbath, or both?
Wow. Or one in the style of the other.
Exactly. Ozzy Mountain Breakdown.
Hendrix, and I was like, oh my God, and it blew my mind. And so everything was Hendrix, and I had older sisters. So Beatles, Jethro Tull, the Rolling Stones, the Who, all that stuff. It was all there, and because they all had the records, and my sisters were older, so I had an epiphany, just like, oh my God, this is incredible, and I want this and this and this and this, and there was a plethora of music, of albums, so at my fingertips. And it really
Honestly,
just changed
I think he would be one of the top 5 guys, John 5, to get back here in the studio.
Speaking of the studio, let's get back to it.
Nick enters Simone with none other than Wonderwall.
Take one.
Take one.
So, what's your name?
My name is Nick Simone.
And what do you do at AMS?
Nobody knows for sure. No, I'm just teasing. I'm in purchasing. I'm the guitar buyer for Gibson, Fender, a couple other brands. It means I get to work with companies like Gibson and Fender, and also by Breedlove, and I manage inventory, and I decide what we carry and how much we order, and if we have too much, and that's the most of it. I don't know, help me with my math here. Was that 16 and a half years? I started working here in June of 2008, so I guess about 16 and a half years. I studied privately for many years. I studied with, been playing a long time. I studied with Mozart back in the day in high school. And, took some classes in school, studied privately. So, yeah. So I think I'm on my second or third gig. No, actually, I've been playing for 100 years, do gigs every single weekend. So it's what I enjoy to do. It's what I do. We're going to do Wonderwall by Oasis. And I think we're going to do the Foo Fighters tune, Everlong. So this one here, this is one of the first Gibson exclusive runs that I did. I collaborated with Gibson. Pretty proud of this guitar. This is a 12-string that they never made before. They couldn't figure out if this small of a body would handle the stress of a 12-string. And turns out it can. And then one of the other things that I did, which was for guys who do and girls who do gigs, is typically with a 12-string, the battery is up on the neck block. So like if you have to change a battery at a gig, you got to loosen all the strings. It's kind of a nightmare. So I had to move the pickup here. And like I said, this was a few years back. But I think I'm gonna play this one and get it out of the basement and give it a job to do. So the other one, I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use this Breedlove thin body. Sounds good. It's comfortable. It's thin, and I think that's what we'll be going with. If you want to check out what I'm doing and what I'm up to, you can just check out nicksimonemusic.com. My gigs are on there, and what I've been up to. So, all right.
'Today is gonna be the day that you're gonna go back to you. By now, I should have somehow realized what you got to do. I wanna believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that you find the heart is out. I'm sure you heard it before, but you never really had a doubt. I wanna believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we walk along are winding, and all the lights that lead to you are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Maybe I'm gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Today is gonna be the day that you're gonna go back to you. By now, I should have somehow realized what you got to do. I wanna believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we walk along are winding, and all the lights that lead to you are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. So maybe I'm gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. So now gonna be the one that saves me. Gonna be the one that saves me. Gonna be the one that saves me. Today is gonna be the day that you're gonna go back to you. By now, should have somehow realized what you got to do. I wanna believe that everybody feels the way I do about you now. All right.
Awesome job, Nick.
All right, too kind.
Now, why did you pick Wonderball?
It's a tune I do done once or twice. This is the third time, I think.
Well, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Yeah, no, I play it all the time
Great.
at the gigs, and people seem to like it. So.
And Nick's next song is Everlong.
And
by
I
the
wanted
Foo
to.
Fighters.
I want to check out. I'm gonna play my 12-string too, so it was a good choice. All right, let me switch guitars if that works.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm not live while we're switching, right?
No, you are.
I am.
You are.
Oh man, this is like a live gig.
That's right.
Probably get fired.
Need some help? It says live TV, folks. Anything can
That's
happen.
it. Yep. Take two. All right, take two. Hello, I've waited here for you. Something to out of my head, she sang. Come down and waste away with me. Come with me. Slow how you wanted it to be. Over my head, she sang. And I wonder when I sing along with you, anything can ever be this real forever. Anything can ever be this real again. Only thing you'll ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say when she sang. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank
that was
you, AMS.
awesome. Great job. What made you decide to use your little jingle bells on your feet?
You know, I've been doing that for like 200 years. And,
200, wow.
And then a couple of bands were kind of doing that, so I didn't feel so bad. I think Mumford and Sons and a couple other guys do that, but I've been doing that for a long time.
It sounds great. Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you so much. Peace out.
Now we have a very special piece of content for you, a piece from our Alex Lifeson interview.
And, the studio was on a lake and I think they had about 10 acres.
I should backtrack this story a little bit because I was dealing with the guys at Godin who are super great. Love them. They make great stuff. And I got word that they were going to be making guitars with Alex Lifeson. I watched a video with Chris Shiflett and I was like, that looks like a Godin. So I called him. I was like, if that's going to happen, we'll fly to, we'll come see you guys in Quebec and we'll interview Alex Lifeson and we'll get the first run of guitars. And they were like, sure, we can make that happen. And I didn't expect them to say yes. And then, so there was a lot of back and forth and we finally got up there and then we got to meet the guy and talk to him about a million different things. But I couldn't believe it even happened because I think that was our first on the road big interview. We were talking about, there's probably only one other guitar player I can think of that we go, that's the Hendrix chord. That F sharp, but you were just, that's the Lifeson chord. And
Is there a chord that would be the Ryan chord if you had to have a Ryan chord?
Yes, it would be an open D. It's very boring and fun to play. I test every guitar with an A chord for some reason. I always feel like that's indicative of what a guitar should sound like.
Yeah,
when you pick up your guitar, what do you play?
I'm more of a G chord kind of girl.
G chord's a good one. It's complex.
Where I use that chord. And then it's just nice to have those.
And you get all those open strings.
All those open strings. And
but he was one of those guys, for me, aside from being like a great lead player, it was the chord choices and how he played. And he just seemed so like whatever about it. It was just like he was so relaxed. And it's like, yeah, we just kind of threw it together. And you listen to Rush, you're like, there's no way that you guys were just goofing around.
Right. This is casual for you, yeah.
Right. And their music is kind of serious and heavy. And then we met him and he was such a goofball.
Approach even now, you said you're in like a second, I think you called it a second phase?
Iteration. Yeah, we're the second album that we're
So you're working on a second
doing,
album. What approach styles have you kind of changed? Do you still take the same?
So for us sitting on the couch, it's so easy to talk to someone when they just wanted to hang out and talk. And that's exactly what he wanted to do. He was great.
I feel like it's so common that people make this like heavy, intense music and then they're actually these like lighthearted, silly people, because it's like a release. It's like an outlet.
I agree with you. It almost makes you wonder what he'd be like if he didn't have that.
Yeah.
I kind of got ideas and worked them out. And then I worked with some other musicians and we fleshed them out. And lyrics were difficult. I'm not a lyricist. Mm-hmm. That was the difficult part. But the recording I did in my house at the time.
And it was really neat to kind of see how into that guitar he was, because initially you look at it, you think, okay, it's a Strat style guitar. He's going to slap his name on it. He picked out like every speck of it. He was poring over everything, which was kind of cool to see. Because at this stage, what does he need to do it for?
Right, just the love of the game.
Right,
yeah.
And he loved it. He was so into it, which is inspiring. Because he's had success and I haven't, so it makes me feel good about, maybe there's a chance.
You're like, I have the same amount of nerdiness about this, so maybe I'm on the right track.
Exactly.
So, and then recording, pretty straightforward. A couple of amps that I was using, mics.
What did you record Victor to? Was it digital tape? Was it tape?
No, it was my what do you call them? ADATs.
Oh, the ADATs.
Yeah. So what?
I've heard this trip was quite cold for you guys, though.
It was. Well, it was funny. And we'll probably watch it soon. We did it. We were able to do a short with him. And because, again, I got the vibe that he was up for doing something silly. And his manager was a little bit more serious. He's like, I don't know. And we were talking in the hallway, and I was talking to Dan about it. And I was like, it would be great if we have a little downtime, which we did. It was the dead of winter. We're in, the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, I have this idea for like a comedic short. And he's like, I don't think Alex will be into it. And Alex literally had come in from like the men's room. So it's like, what is it? What are you talking about? And we told him, he's like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. That'd be great. So it was further validation that, and judging by the fact that 410 people watched it over the last year is a huge victory for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that many people.
The pouring sounds really add a lot to it.
Well, you know, it's a snippet of everyday life. The R2D2 cup is my favorite part.
The enthusiasm is so genuine from you two.
Thank you.
Guitar's finally ready for you, but I'll just.
It's the best part. I enjoy that. And again, it was obviously just a goofy thing to do. And I was just thrilled that he even wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we did maybe 1 or 2 takes. I think it was pretty straightforward. I mean, obviously it's not, Citizen Kane, but, and it was also the day of the week where I'd wear my Go Dan hoodie. So that worked out really well. Yeah.
Get kind of like a velociraptor stance at the end there.
Exactly. But I mean, and these offices, I mean, we were obviously doing a bit of an homage on The Office, where it's like the mundane kind of getting coffee and going back to your room. And we didn't have to do anything to make it look like this. This was the middle of January in Canada and cold and dreary. I think they were happy to have anybody show up, to be honest.
People?
Yeah. Even if it's Americans, who cares? Yeah, so there you go.
Well, we almost got stopped at the border, so...
That's true. Getting into Canada, you come into the airport and everyone is as nice as Canadians can be because they are polite people. That is true. But we got to the border where we had all our equipment. I had never been to Canada before. I think Dan had. So the lady went from like really nice to like, where the hell do you think you're going? And we're like, Canada? And she's like, I don't think so.
Typical American.
That's what she said. Yeah, you typical Americans. I was surprised because in my mind, I figured Canada was so far away. And in reality, I mean, we couldn't even fall asleep on the flight. By the time you got comfortable, you were already there. And then the trip back was even faster, the trip to America.
Speaking of trip to America, let's take a trip to the studio of American Musical Supply, shall we?
So we've got some questions in our chat that we want to address real fast. So, first off, where are we located? Our headquarters is in New Jersey, but we also have warehouses all over the country. So that means pretty much no matter where you are, any of our stuff is going to get to you within about 2 days, more or less. The next question, are we doing more live streams? Yes, we will. We will be doing more live streams eventually. We don't have a date on the calendar yet specifically, but be on the lookout. We certainly will. Next question, any new brands this year? Care to answer this one?
Yeah, absolutely. We always carry new brands. I think probably after NAMM, which is in the next week or so, we'll be taking a look at, usually in Hall E and Hall D for that kind of stuff. So you'll be seeing some new brands pretty soon.
Speaking of NAMM, we got the question, are we going to NAMM? And the answer is yes, you will see us there, as well as all our NAMM content that we're going to be pushing out right away. Next question. We got some interview suggestions from chat mentions. Very contrasting here. They want us to interview Eric Clapton. Thoughts?
Well, we interviewed Ariel Posen a couple months back, and I did ask him about playing Crossroads with Eric Clapton. It involved some unsavory discussion, so we'll see. I don't think Clapton's going to be here anytime soon. How about the next one?
Yeah, okay. The next one is very much in contrast. The Insane Clown Posse.
They're actually here today. So that's
Are they?
Timing, yeah.
Bring in the Insane Clowns.
They're going to do a stripped down version of Woot Woot.
All right, so there you have it. Our next performer is none other than our very own graphic designer, Michael, accompanied by yours truly.
Hey, my name is Michael. At AMS, I am the multimedia graphic designer here. Basically, as a multimedia graphic designer, I kind of help everyone out besides myself. So doing mainly social media is the main thing that I do, but that's also helping in motion graphics as well as our video team. So I've been working at AMS for about 1.5 years now. So I've been performing probably a little over 10 years now, I want to say. I used to play bass in a band, and that was my main thing of performing. So the band was called Back Pocket Alimony. I started this band with a bunch of my friends in college. As for formal music education or training, I took my rare lesson every now and then, but for the most part, I've been self-taught most of my life.
And do you play live music often?
Not often. I don't play live music often, but I love playing it when I can because it's just such a feeling you can't get anywhere else. So today, I will be playing Head in the Ceiling Fan by Title Fight, as well as Youngest Daughter by Super Heaven. The gear that I will be using is a Fender Strat, as well as a Head Rush Flex Prime. Currently, I am writing and recording on my own. I'm kind of just, it's like a push and pull process. I haven't really found the thing I want to release just yet, but when I do, it will definitely be out on my main Instagram, which is mtelly_art, or we can also find most of my graphics, as well as mtelly_photo, where most of my photography is. Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Finishing up my last
Tune
two
up,
strings
tune
here.
up. Tuna.
All right.
All right. Got my headphones all situated. You ready?
Sure am.
Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Head in the ceiling, fingers rolling and missing like bullets slamming to deer skin. Moonlight, green eyes to your face. I'm blind, follow footsteps of bleeding bloodline. Head in the ceiling, fingers rolling, missing like bullets slamming to deer skin.
Awesome job,
Woo!
Mike.
That was fun.
Now, why did you pick that song?
I mean, I guess you can relate to this, but like growing up listening to Title Fight, like it's one of my favorite songs from Title Fight. Just like the point where it kicks in and the
It's
drums
so good.
come in and like the like distorted guitars, like it just hits so hard. But I just wanted to do like a stripped down version of it and see how it came out, and I love it.
Yeah, thank you for involving me. It's really, really
No,
cool.
awesome,
And our next song is Youngest Daughter by Super Heaven.
awesome. You ready?
Yep. No, I'm good.
useless. I tried to no avail. To tell you much I know, much I care. Come home, breathe until your lungs fail. You can sing till you go deaf, and every day that you don't call her, I can feel it coming down. I am sick, I am horrified by everything I hear. The youngest daughter lost her way. Every day repeats itself again, the cycle of our misery. It drives us all insane. Please come home. The poison takes away from us. Now you're sick to death from all the drugs. Breathe until your lungs fail. You can sing till you go deaf, and every day that you don't call her, I can feel it coming down.
Awesome. Awesome job, Mike. It was really, really awesome.
That was fun.
And we have reached the middle of our stream. This is our halfway point, so that means we have 3 performers left, and you won't want to miss them because next up is me, followed by 2 awesome bands back to back. And remember, we are giving away this beautiful PRS SE Swamp Ash special in Vintage Sunburst. Ooh, ah. Now on to the Smokestack video.
So this video was very, very exciting and special for me. This was in Nashville when we spoke with Paul Moak at Smokestack Studios, and he recorded one of my original songs. It was really awesome, and I felt like we worked together really well, and it's awesome to have this piece to look back on. I felt bad that it looks like I'm on my phone in this intro, but I swear I was printing out the lyrics, and he told me to. I promise. I wasn't on Instagram.
I have so much I want to ask you, but I want to wait for the camera to be rolling. Does that guitar feel comfortable?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
I was immediately more comfortable when I realized that he was genuinely curious about what I'm doing.
Sometimes it's a little awkward being on the couch and set up an acoustic mic with the vocal and get your headphones all dialed.
It was such a cool space, too. I feel like it doesn't even do it justice how cool it was to actually be there. Thank you.
I mean, your eyes haven't gone bad like mine have.
I have pretty good vision.
How long ago did you write this?
A couple months ago, maybe in like April.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, April or May. Not too long ago. It's one of my newer ones.
Yeah.
And Paul's energy is so
I go through like phases.
gentle.
I write a lot and then I don't.
It makes it a really comfortable space to be open with your music.
I trust that eventually I will write something again.
Yeah, that's part of the job of the artist is to remain open, right?
Yeah, every time I write a good song, I'm like, it's the last one. It's the last good one I have in me, I swear.
Do you typically sing kind of like looking at your left hand or?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah, just play and once we get guitar up, we'll ask you to start singing a little bit too.
Awesome. I think we did 2 takes total, and we ended up going with the first one, which was surprising to me because usually I feel like I have to do things more than once or twice to get them, but you only had like 2 or 3 listens before we jumped right into it. Can you unpack for me what was going through your head when you first heard it and how you were able to get to producing so quickly?
The first 15 seconds of you singing made me exhale and know that everything was going to be okay.
Oh, thank you. I loved getting to talk about it after with him too, because seeing him just in his element doing his thing was so mesmerizing. And then getting to hear him unpack what was going through his head afterwards was awesome.
That it was going to be smooth sailing. Hey, Kelly, can you hear me? Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, sweet. Will you sing along too for just a second?
Yeah, totally.
Maria came running.
Maria is actually a fake name that I changed for this recording specifically because I didn't want to expose, I knew this was going on the internet, I didn't want to expose the real name. But the story is true. I did encounter a dead goose in a parking lot and it was very sad. It made me very sad and I felt very weird about it, so I wrote the song.
Do you need us to adjust anything for you?
I feel good to go.
You want to try one?
Yeah.
All right, you're in the red.
It was also really nice for me to feel like I was making a video that showcased what I do best, because I really feel like this is what I've been training to do and what really makes me feel like I'm in my element. So getting to do that for AMS was really special for me.
Came running straight through the pine trees, holding a bird in a bag. I stared longer than I've ever looked at a body like that.
And I'm very happy with how the recording turned out overall. I feel like usually I work with someone and they don't quite understand what I'm going for as quickly as Paul did. I kind of have trouble articulating my musical thoughts to other people, and I didn't even really need to do that with Paul. He just sort of was with me every step of the way.
That was awesome.
Thank you. I usually kind of do like different things at the end, like that outro section I sort of just like roll with, so.
Yeah, the good news is we've already got a great one.
For sure.
So if you mess up.
I also love how many team members were involved in this. The fact that Kevin and Josh shot it, and then Brady edited it, and of course, you know, Jake always doing the audio. It just was nice that we had so many people involved, even though it was my song.
Awesome, how'd that feel?
It felt good.
I think I might still be partial to the first one.
Okay, I think maybe me too.
Sounded great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Make my job easy. We can leave it like that, or I could add some atmospheric elements to it if that's better for video and if you want the song to kind of blossom a little bit as it goes.
I would be totally down for that.
Okay.
He told me before we started that his neighbor is actually Soccer Mommy, and I love Soccer Mommy. He said my voice reminded me of her. So maybe if we come back one day, I could be like, hey, is Soccer Mommy home?
Yeah, there's always an emotional energy that I'm trying to connect with that will make me think of the B3 or the piano or whatever. So it's kind of different every time, just trying to stay open and let the ideas come through, you know? Sweet.
That was awesome.
Let's try the upright. So this might be hard to shoot. One more. Right there.
He's got so many rings on and so many bracelets, and so did I at the time. So whenever we high-fived, it was like a ton of metal clanking. It was funny. He's got like the loudest jewelry in the world for someone who's recording.
An electric pass. I think we'll just stick with the bassman. You got great timing.
Thank you.
It's easy to lock in with. The song that you brought is very much in the wheelhouse of what I love, so it made it a lot easier to just be myself inside of it, you know.
I also loved his philosophy on everything. It seems like he's very grounded. He's in this for the love of music. He's not in it for money, which I respect. And it just really seems like he makes himself like available to make art in whatever capacity he can.
Cool. Will you put Echo Boy on that? How about, I had an hour to record the song. You have 10 minutes to mix it.
But yeah, it wasn't even a full hour, 10 minutes.
Seems like there was a weird piano hit in there.
Yeah, there's a handful in the tag here.
Hey, watch it, buddy. Yeah. Thank you. Writing in terms of the context of my job is helping people get their idea out. There's a mysticism to it of where does it come from? How does it happen? And I've just accepted the fact that it's not of my own volition. I just have to be here and hope that today's the day that it's allowed to come through me, you know. Awesome.
Cool.
Right there.
Awesome. I really hope that we end up getting to work with Paul again someday, next time we're back in Nashville in his studio. But for now, let's head on over to our studio and get back to our live stream.
Please welcome to the stage myself and the wonderful Mr. Kevin Juba.
My name is Kelly Flatley. What do I do at AMS? I am the brand ambassador, that's my official title, but I work really closely with the social media team. I do a couple different things within the social media team. I'm on camera, I do a lot of voiceover, I also edit videos. So, yeah, and some other fun things tossed in there. I'm mad at Dan because he's forcing me to do this even though everybody should know what I do. You see me, you know me, but regardless, I'm a team player.
My name is Kevin Juba.
And what do you do at AMS?
I am the social media manager on the content team here at AMS. What does it mean? What is social media? No, I coordinate with the whole team and we work on all of the social posts that we make on all 5 of our platforms. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hopefully for the rest of this year. We'll see.
I've been working here for about a year and a half now.
I started at AMS 3 years ago on the merchandising team, so I was working with all the SKUs that came in and just organizing everything for the website to make it all look nice and pretty. But I've been with the content team for just about a year and a half, maybe a little bit more.
Ooh, I've been performing for quite some time. I started taking voice lessons when I was, I think, 11 years old. But before that, I started piano lessons at like 7 years old. I'm now 25, so in case you all care. I've been performing for all that time. I did theater for a very long time in my childhood. And for a long time, I thought I was going to pursue theater, but here I am at American Musical Supply. I'm also a singer-songwriter. And yeah, I started doing that in like 8th grade. And I've been doing that ever since.
Oh, God. I mean, I've been playing music for years. I've started guitar when I was 16, so that was 14 years ago. Yeah, so I've been playing in bands ever since, high school. Yeah.
So in terms of formal training, I have a lot of it. I studied at Berklee College of Music and I studied songwriting there. And I've been in music education and music lessons, like as far as I can remember. I had piano lessons, I had drum lessons in the marching band. I've mostly been self-taught on guitar. But yeah, I also did formal theater training in high school as well.
I do. I went to William Patterson for songwriting and social media, funny enough. And I graduated there back in 2017.
While I was at Berklee, I played a lot more gigs than I do now in Boston. But I do a lot of performing here on camera for AMS. And I do want to be playing more gigs than I am right now. So that is hopefully coming on the horizon.
I mean, I've been playing all over the tri-state area. I've been playing in bands, like I said, since I was 16 years old. So I'm super used to, packing a car full of a bunch of gear and driving to a venue and just, late nights just at bars and clubs and stuff like that. So a lot of loud music throughout the years.
You can find my music on Spotify, on Apple Music, at my Instagram, under Kelly Flatley everywhere.
So I have a couple projects on like Spotify and Bandcamp. My most recent project is a band called From the Concrete. It's like a pop punk sort of alternative rock band. We have an EP out there that you can definitely check out.
We will be playing Vampire Empire by Big Thief and a song that I wrote called Went to Space, Came Back Taller. I think I wrote that song in like 2021, maybe. It's been a while. I am singing to the Shore Nexodine, and I am playing the Taylor 322E right over there. It's an awesome guitar.
And I'm going to be playing out of the Victory V40 Deluxe amp.
I picked the song Vampire Empire because it's a really cool song. There's been a lot of iterations of that song that exists in different forms throughout the time that Big Thief has performed it live. And I really admire the way that it kind of morphs and changes into almost an entirely different song every time they do it. And Adrian Lenker is a huge inspiration for me. And playing that song, it's literally 2 chords. So I often kind of like use it as like an emotional release when I'm performing, where I know that like I can just kind of like, strum it out and like get any nerves out before any other song I'm going to play. The reason that I picked my original song is, I wanted to play something original, and it's kind of got a more upbeat energy than a lot of my other originals. They're often kind of sad, and I didn't really think that was the vibe for this setting, so that was not necessarily sad, just kind of like contemplative and strange. And I think it's one that like kind of surprises people when they hear it. It's kind of unlike a lot of music out there, especially lyrically, I think. So yeah.
Cool.
So I have released a version of this song that I recorded at Berkeley. And because it's on Spotify, Kevin is like my #1 Spotify listener. He's like the only person that streams my music. So he knew the song already quite well. So we didn't really I didn't have to like teach you anything.
No, yeah, I knew the structure, and we had talked about, performing this a lot, and it was a lot. My goal for it really was to just create space and only add in things that I thought were actually adding on to the song, because I think Kelly does such a great job at like emoting and bringing out a lot of like really nice raw emotion. And so I didn't want to distract from that. So I'm mostly just kind of just creating a little bit of ambiance and little vibe. But yeah, it was super fun to work with that. Like she said, it was essentially just a complete song, and she just let me kind of do my thing on it. So it was fun.
I trust his ears.
Cool. You didn't have to. Did you have to do like any breakdown, like how much reverb has to come through, or?
I mean, not really. She was pretty
historical shit.
I don't know enough about ships to answer this. I once went on the Intrepid as a child and like had so much existential fear on the Intrepid that I like was forced to learn philosophy. Like the Intrepid struck fear into my heart. So. Awesome. Yeah, but I was like, I can't enjoy my time on the Intrepid when I'm thinking about my own death, so I had to find peace.
Mm-hmm. Favorite Socrates quote?
What did that guy say? He just asked a lot of questions, right? So probably like, why?
Favorite Dionysus quote?
Maybe
how?
This song is called Vampire Empire.
Watching TV, tired, bleeding on the bed. The milk is just expired, all the leaves are dead. I'm not quiet, you've been quiet, just receiving what you said. Reeling, feeling, feeding, filled by everything you said. I see you as you see yourself through all the books you read. Overwhelmed with guilt and realizing the disease. You give me chills, I've had it with the chills. I'm nothing, you hear nothing, me hear nothing with the pills. I'm empty till she feels alive, until she kills. Her vampire empire I am. Falling, yeah. Falling, yeah. I see you there rejecting all your earthly power, protecting and dissecting till you've emptied every hour. We jump into the pond and then we come under the shower. You lay upon my pillow and you open like a flower. I wanted to see you naked, I wanted to hear you scream, wanted to kiss your skin and your everything. I wanted to be your woman, I wanted to be your man, I wanted to be the one that you could understand. You gave me chills and had it with the chills. I'm nothing, you're nothing, we're nothing with the pills. I'm empty till she feels alive, until she kills in her vampire empire. I am falling, yeah, falling, yeah, falling, yeah, falling, yeah. Well, I walked into your dagger for the last time in a row. It's like trying to start a fire with matches in the snow, where you can't seem to hold me, can't seem to let me go. So I can't find surrender, and I can't keep control. You turn me inside out, and then you want the outside in. You spin me all around, then you ask me not to spin. You say you want to be alone, and you want children. You want to be with me, baby, you want to be with him. You give me chills and had it with the chills. I'm nothing, you're nothing, we're nothing with the pills. I'm empty till she feels alive, until she kills in her vampire empire. I am falling, yeah, falling, yeah, falling, yeah, falling,
Thank you, thank you.
So Kelly, we're gonna play an original of yours next, right?
We sure are.
Do you want to tell us what it is and what it's about?
Sure. This next song I wrote, it's called Went to Space, Came Back Taller. And that is a real thing that happens when you go to space. Your spine expands sometimes. I mean, I don't know if that happens to every astronaut. I haven't asked every astronaut, but because of the lack of gravity and such, your spine expands. And I was talking to my dad actually when I came up with the idea, because he has, shout out to Steve if you're watching, and shout out to Kathleen while I'm at it, that's my mom, and also shout out to Josh's son Jack. Josh's son Jack. He wants a black guitar. Well, we got him.
We got black guitars, guys.
But yeah, I was talking to my dad when I thought of the idea, because he's actually shrunk like several inches over the course of his life. Just from wear and tear. I don't know. But he was like, I got to go to space and stretch my spine out. And I wrote the song sort of as a metaphor for wanting to like go expand yourself, you know, like wanting to go like grow and become independent, but still feeling like anxiously tethered to like something or someone that's kind of like holding you down and holding you back.
Nice.
So that is what it's about.
Nice. Very cool.
It's a little bit of a weird one. But yeah, this is Went to Space, Came Back Taller.
I went to space and came back taller. Guess the gravity's been pressing for a while. Where'd you go and are you safe? Did you fall asleep on the interstate? Guess I get a little nervous sometimes. Just call me back, I know you're probably fine. Your silhouette projected on the surface of the sun. I locked it off, so please pull me down. Your silhouette table. Broken glass could fly at any time. The good thing about zero gravity is nothing can cave in on top of me. My vertebrae expanding in my spine, but I still worry your ground will shake tonight. Your silhouette projected on the surface of the sun. I'll orbit off, so please pull me down when I'm done. Your silhouette projected on the surface of the sun. I'll orbit off, so please pull me down when I'm done. My God, I think it's Wednesday, it's Thursday. But I guess that hasn't mattered in a while. I get up, if you can call it that, watch the planets flying past, and I wonder if today they're all aligned. Do you suppose that might be some sort of a sign?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now on to a very interesting piece, a clip from our PRS Game of Tones.
We're taking a look at some of our favorite videos that we've made over the past year, and this one was very noteworthy, our Game of Tones with Paul Reed Smith.
So reluctant.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
So teach me what you want from me today. This is episode 4.
This is episode 4. Yes, our last episode was the Christmas episode. So quick recap, we had 3 episodes. The first 2 episodes,
I was just happy
with what
the
you
way it
got.
sounded.
Yeah. I claimed victory. I will say that Ryan came back in 3rd episode with Corey Wong.
Do you want to know why it happened? That's
and decimated Mark Lettieri and myself, which now brings us to...
Nobody decimates Mark Lettieri.
Thank you.
Mark Lettieri is too smart to be decimated.
Yes, sir.
Well,
he told me you love to be called sir. Is that true?
That's bull.
Well, underneath this kitschy little cloak that we've got here are a variety of stomp boxes, effects pedals, whatever you want to call them. I had met Paul once before, like at a NAMM, like 5 years ago. And he didn't remember me from Adam, but I could almost sense from the minute he got here that he was going to butt heads.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought it made for good content.
Yeah.
But I realized at some point I was going to have to be unhinged and not suffer the slings and arrows of which he wanted to. And I think he enjoyed it. I think
he did too. I could tell pretty immediately that he was like kind of ungovernable, you know?
Well, you were locked in a room with him.
Yeah.
And
I was worried. I'd never met him before. I didn't know what we were going to say in that room. But he was so passionate. I think that's a lot of it for him. He's just so passionate about this subject that like he doesn't really, he'll get up and he'll do what he wants to do, you know?
I have no problem.
Okay, what
with
if
that.
I can replicate it better than you can?
I'm sure you can.
Then you win.
No, I'm not a contestant.
We'll play the track. You could be our lifeline. You could even kind of, help us out. And there's not any rules really, but we won't know what's going on until it happens.
Okay, so how do I believe for 1 second that when you go off camera, you don't really hear his
I will
track?
be going into the green room where I'll
There's
be
no green room. I
swathed
was just over
in,
there.
in
That's a
burlap sacks,
bathroom.
and I'll be hit with reeds.
There's no green room.
Yeah, it was fun to see you guys play off each other. I think you guys have so much energy, both of you, that, it's like fighting fire with fire a little bit.
Nothing can go wrong.
Everything has already gone wrong. I'm here.
That's the beauty of it. That's why we're.
Okay,
that's
so
why we're
you're
doing
not
this.
starting, he's starting.
Russell's gonna start.
But I named you thing 1, which means you would go first.
But in theory, communism works. So don't worry about that. What we're going to do is we're going
In theory, communism works.
You know what it was like? It was like two people on a train determined to hijack it. And we just were wrestling for control at any given point. Like, it's my train.
And poor Russ over there like, I love trains. Like,
Well, exactly. He's like, I have a shirt with your face on it.
And meanwhile, I'm like covered in my own sweat. Like, I didn't know that in the first scene, I just had horrible sweat stains all over myself. It's so bad.
Well, admittedly, it's very hot in there.
Yeah.
And the action is super, it's awesome. It's at a fever pitch.
Of course, if it's in your hands. Most people play the part.
And that's the part where we
Save
fail
it
the
for the
most.
interview. In the meantime,
If it makes you feel better, my wife reminds me of it weekly. You let Kelly go on.
Does she really?
Yes.
Good to know she has my back.
That's fun. My wife doesn't watch any of these things. I'll tell her, like, oh, there's a new video. And she's like, oh, that's great.
Then leave. Goodbye.
Yep.
Okay, start.
Wow, that's fast.
All right. So
Would you, somebody make sure he doesn't cheat?
Are we
I
paused?
really do.
Wow, when he said somebody make sure he doesn't cheat, those are fighting words.
Yeah, they're fighting words. And what kind of budget does he think we have? Yeah, someone get someone on him. Yeah.
And feel free.
So can I
to
just say
ram
something?
taste us.
The courage of actually having to duplicate the sound of the track.
Paul is a dying breed, though. And I mean that in the sense that a lot of people now are just so concerned with coming off as likable and whatever's going to translate to the bottom. He wants what he wants. And you see that in the end result of what they build. He's just that way.
Yeah.
And it could come across as cantankerous. For me, I think it was one of the best things that we've done in terms of games tones.
Yeah, he's authentic. You got to give him that.
I never
How
had to
y'all
answer that.
doing tonight? It's an awful question.
Yeah, we went down to see the basic HQ down in Maryland a couple months back, and I was surprised that they would have us back and that he would even talk to us, quite frankly. But he was cool. He came in. At first they were like, well, we don't know if Paul's going to be around today. You're going to check out guitars and do it. But I think he made a point of coming in and he said, oh, you haven't changed, and he left, as if we were going to be any better than we were the first time around. But
But he couldn't stay away.
And he did say he would give me a free guitar, of which
Oh, wow.
I have not gotten.
So you got to get on that.
We should give away a PRS.
We should give away a PRS guitar. And in fact, if you're watching the live stream, you can get a PRS guitar that we're giving away. Back to that stream.
This was a fun one. Because obviously Mark's a really cool guy and we were happy to talk to him. But for me too, just because we're in Jersey and we're going, as I used to call it, the Performing Arts Center, which it is no longer called. I think it's like owned by a bank. But so getting there was fun. It was a rainy, cold day. But we get there and they get us in and we do the interview in it looked like almost like a ski chalet. It was like wooden paneled walls, really small. But he was really, just couldn't have been nicer. He's like, please relax, hang out, let's just chat. And then at some point, we're on our way out and we figure, we'll walk through the back of the stage and we'll take a look at his gear, even though we didn't have anything scheduled to look at his gear. And he followed us out the door. He's like, do you want to check it out? So Dan and Jake were like, we still are wired up. Let's just give him a quick mic. And what I thought would be a 2-minute, kind of just aside, I think probably ended up being another half hour.
Wow. Very generous of him.
And generous not only in terms of his time, but in terms of the details of every little aspect of his rig. And he was genuinely proud of it. And we're nobodies. He doesn't know who we are. And you would never know it from looking at this. You would think, I'm just going to talk to these guys like I'm talking to old buddies that we're having a beer in the backyard and just shooting the breeze.
Flying to Europe to do a week of interviews,
And nothing else, just interview after interview.
Yeah,
it's like a junket. Yeah.
Well, doing an interview every now and then is great, especially when I talk here.
But with nerds. There's a reason why they're as popular as they are, and I'd like to think a big part of that is because of how cool he is.
Right. The
He's
way
just
he
cool.
is. Yeah.
Just so chill and prolific. And he was so not full of himself. He was just like, And again, like Sinatra, like Bonamassa, constantly working. Just always writing and performing and producing and playing. And it's like, sometimes I think when you see the finished product of stuff like this, you just see that element of it, but you don't see all the effort and sweat equity that goes into getting to that. So Tremonti, Alter Bridge, Creed, what am I missing?
Sinatra.
Yes.
So how do you get into the headspace when you're writing for all those different projects?
I always have in mind what I'm...
I was sad to miss this one.
Yeah, you would have liked it. It was a lot of fun. And it was again, it was a nice, easy trip down the parkway to get there. It was just cool. It worked out when you envision going to a gig and meeting with an artist. This went about as smoothly and I think as fluidly as we could have asked.
Song and 2 or 3 of them sound like Alter Bridge tunes, but they'll just keep on morphing. And if I write something that just sounds like I should get on stage and play it with this.
And it was neat to talk to him, kind of like some of the same stuff we talked to Bonamassa about, which was only a couple weeks prior to this. It was just neat to talk about the same kind of like these guys who've been playing forever. They could buy and get whatever they want, and they still all kind of lust after the same stuff, you know, vintage Les Pauls and Dumble amps, and yet they still get excited about it. But even he was showing us pedals that he was working on. He was as excited about a pedal as he was about, you know, a $50,000 amplifier. And that's the joy of it. You know, we get a lot of people, I'm sure you hear this, like people go, oh, you're lucky you get to meet with these artists. And it can be as more stressful than enjoyable half the time.
Totally, yeah.
And when this works out like this, you go, this is why you do it.
Right, like
you know?
this is what we're after.
Yeah, it really is. It was, and that's the thrilling part of it, because you don't know until you sit down with someone what they're going to be like, or what mood they're in that day.
As a director, I forget his last name, but great director. We shot 3 videos in 3 days. I was kicking and screaming the whole time going into it because I didn't want to do a normal performance video. I wanted to do something more artistic, and he knocked it out of the park.
There was some Creed cookies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I ate one. And it took me higher.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
What kind of cookie?
It had a lot of sugar in it, I can tell you that much. And I was eating it for the outro, and Russ kept screwing the outro up. Like, we must have done like 30 takes. And I'm trying, and the cookie's this big, so I'm like taking bites of it, thinking I'm going to milk this cookie, no pun intended, to finally get the edit. By the time we finally got Russ to do it right, I had already eaten the cookie. So the joke was kind of on me, but
did it make it into the edit, the cookie? It's in there?
Thanks so much. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mark. Big thanks to Mark Tremonti for sitting down with us today and for PRS putting this all together.
Maybe, you know, next time he's in Jersey, we'll have him come back to the headquarters here, and we'll bring him in the break room. We'll have a nice fresh batch of cookies.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'll personally bake Mark Tremonti a tray of cookies should he ever come to our studio. Speaking of our studio, let's get back to it.
My name is Mike.
My name is Alana Ferraro.
My name is Adam Balaban.
My name is Paul Sand.
What is your quest?
My quest? My quest is music.
The gear I'm using today, I'm using a Gibson Chris Novoselic RD Artist Bass and a bunch of different pedals.
I am using a Shure Nexodyne microphone.
The gear that I'm using today is my Nord Stage 4 73 key keyboard.
So I play a 4-piece Ludwig Black Sparkle drum kit, a zillion dark custom cymbals, DW5000 drum pedal.
Today I'm using my PRS McCarty 594, which is my baby. I'm using a Tone King Imperial Mark II, also my baby, and a good amount of pedals.
I've been performing for the last 5 years. Only formal training was a couple lessons in college and when I first started when I was 13, but other than that, all self-taught.
I've been performing. I've been taking voice lessons since I was 7, and I went to college for music performance at Florida Gulf Coast University. And so it's like classical music. So I studied classical and theater in college.
I would say I've been performing for I've been gigging professionally since like, I guess 2015. So I guess like that's 8 or 9 years, but I've been performing like even in college years before that. So I studied music at Bergen and I studied music at Rampo also. But I've taken some private piano lessons at Bergen. Even I was at the Ridgewood Conservatory. I took lessons there when I was about like 16. And I think my sophomore or senior year of high school.
I've been performing a little over 10 years. I'm a Berklee College of Music grad, 2005, and I was in drumline. So
awesome.
I was drumline in high school, marched the Rose Bowl parade, which was really fun, and then got into drums, and then studied formally.
I've been performing since I was 16. So that is almost 20 years. The most formal musical training I had was from William Patterson University. I went there for their pop music program. It was half music business and half musical training, which was really cool, really state of the art when it first came out, and had a really great time there.
My experience playing live music, I like the energy from the crowd. And I like that you never really know what's going to happen. And then it's fun to kind of figure out how to fix things if they fall off the rails or not, and just jam and see what happens. And you never know what kind of crowd you're going to get. So that's always fun also.
Playing live music is probably the most fun you could ever have. It's probably the greatest thing when you get a whole live, crowd. Everybody's really into it, slapping high fives and everything. It's just the greatest feeling.
There's no greater joy when you're just playing in front of like crowds of like hundreds and hundreds of people packed in a room, just like, shouting, cheering you on, and you're just, giving people like high fives, like Mike said. And just like, it's just great. There's no greater joy. Just seeing the happiness on people's faces. It's just one of the greatest joys I have.
Awesome.
Playing live music.
It's the greatest thing in the world. I'm an INTP personality, which means I can't talk to one person, but I can play in front of 1,000 people and love it. And it's probably the best feeling I've ever had.
Playing live music, I started with originals. It was really cool. I did the whole East Coast tour thing for a little bit. We had a bus, that we made ourselves. We bought it for really dirt cheap, and we gutted it, and we put bunk beds in it and everything. That was a lot of fun. I never want to go back to original music again. I started playing cover stuff about 3 years ago, and I definitely think it's more my pace. Definitely like the cover band scene, and I think it's really great people in it, as these people right here.
And you are a former AMS employee, correct?
I am a former AMS employee.
What did you do for AMS?
I worked in the purchasing department with our scheduled buying for our guitar brands.
Incredible. And for how long?
I was here for 13 years.
Oh, that's a hard question. Well, my title is e-commerce strategy manager. I'm also into BI, dashboard creation, BI analytics. It's just a lot of spreadsheets and analyzing things. I've been with them coming on 8 years.
So you can find my music, you can find my performances, videos of me playing keyboards on my YouTube channel, my Instagram channel. It's Paul Sand Music.
Awesome.
And on Facebook. So check it out.
They can find my band at Level Up Band NJ on Instagram.
So my Instagram is at Alana Rose _. And then my YouTube is youtube.com/arfalana, or the Benjamins website or their Instagram at the Benjamins NJ.
I got to do a better job putting myself on there, but right now I'm in a band called Vintage Vibes. You can find us on Vintage Vibes _NJ on Instagram.
So the cover band I'm with right now is called Hometown Radio. Tomorrow will be at Caesars Casino in Atlantic City. We're playing at the Mountain Bar at 10 p.m. I'll be very tired. And I also post music on my Instagram. It's at Razzie Signs, which was supposed to be my name, kind of jumbled up until I found out that Instagram shows your name anyway. So, it was a while ago.
What songs are you playing today?
Today we're playing Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar and Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. We picked those songs because I think that we all kind of collectively like to play them. We think they sound pretty good, and
they rock.
They rock, yeah.
They sure do.
Perfect.
Anything else? Any random question you want to toss in there?
Come on, let's do it.
What's cuter, a dolphin or a man of war jellyfish?
Dolphin is cuter, but the Man of War jellyfish has cooler colors.
Correct answer. What you got?
Oh, you got a favorite historical ship?
No. Not that I know of.
Not that I know of. Yeah. Pretty good answer. That's always the stumper.
Wasn't prepared for that one.
My favorite dog breed, I would have to say Siberian Husky.
Good choice.
Is my favorite.
You got a number one cloud formation.
Number one cloud formation,
Yeah.
the cumulus cloud.
Good choice.
The cumulus?
Yeah,
No, cumulus cloud.
Classic.
Classic. It's the classic cloud. Look like a
Quintessential cloud.
Quintessential cloud. It's either a banana or a rabbit. Yeah.
Your love is like a tidal wave, spinning over my head, drowning me in your promises that are left unsaid. You're the right kind of sinner to release my inner fantasy. The invincible winner, and you know that you are born to be. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker. Love taker, don't you mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker. Love taker, don't you mess around. No, no, no. Your love has set my soul on fire, burning out of control. You taught me the ways of desire, now it's taking its toll. You're the right kind of sinner to release my inner fantasy. The invincible winner, you know that you are born to be. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around. No, no, no. You're the right kind of sinner to release my inner fantasy. The invincible winner, you know that you are born to be. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, heartbreaker.
This is our super group here, as you couldn't hear earlier because my audio cut out. We have 3 bands that have merged together, and their second song they're going to play for you today is Sweet Child of Mine. Take it away, guys. guys. You guys sound phenomenal. Thank you. Really, really, totally unreal. Next up, we have something very special, a clip from our interview with Bonamassa himself.
Half of these go out. What could you really realistically, Desert Island amp-wise, do you think you could get away with and still get the show?
Well, I just use a high power twin.
Yeah,
with a
that would be the one.
With a green box or this deep state.
Got it. I mean, fortunately that won't happen to you, but
never say never.
You never know. So this was a thrill. Now, granted, I mean, you think of what Joe Bonamassa has done for the category of electric guitars and amps, how everybody lusts after vintage gear, and he's like, well, I'm going to make it like my mission to not only acquire this stuff, but to use it live. So we knew that when we were going to do the rig rundown in Albany, that we were going to be looking at some stuff that we probably wouldn't be able to touch, which was true. But we also kind of had fun with it. It was the first time that I think we had done a rig rundown where I'm kind of talking to Joe, and we tried to keep it somewhat fluid and dynamic and move around, and some people felt that there was too much movement. I liked it. I mean, sometimes you see a rig rundown and it's very static, and I felt like this gave not only an image of Joe and his gear, but of what it's like to be on that stage and to look at and to get the... I think you get the feel of it. I thought it worked out really well, but don't read the comments. Well, you went through all the footage.
Yeah, I did. I liked how it traveled throughout. It felt like less static, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a good song. I mean, it should have some peaks and valleys, and he couldn't have been nicer. He was really cool. And so cavalier about, we joked, how to sell like $1 million, you're playing through $1 million worth of gear. But he was like, yeah, I'll hold this, I'll put a cup of coffee on a $300,000 amp. And it wasn't like he was being showboaty or anything. He was like, this is my stuff, I use it, and I will treat it as any way I want. And if you have an issue with it,
I mean, it's the same as
too bad.
Records together. It's like you want to be the Gibson guy or you want to be the Fender guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we speak enough languages to where it's like he knows the right stuff to play.
Yeah, you don't have to tell him anything
on each of the songs. So it's not like we're not fighting frequency wise. His rig is way more together.
It was a thrill for me, being a music nerd, to see stuff that I'm lucky enough to get a replica of something that's the real thing.
Right.
And he's up there and he's just ripping through. I mean, it was like my pants were flapping. It was that loud.
His rig is 10 times more sophisticated than mine. I just keep linking a bunch of amps together until it sounds right.
What's the end in sight?
This is it. This is it.
This is it?
And by the way, there's two of these.
Oh, there's a backup. There's an A-B.
There's a B,
when you asked him like what else he was interested in pursuing, and he's like, I got it. I'm good.
Well, that's it. Because in my mind, I think it's one thing to have like one example of like a really cool vintage piece of gear. He's like, he has multiples of all of it. So I'm like, what's out there? What's that with the white whale, we would call it? I don't think that there's anything out there that he could find that he hasn't already tried out already or has owned.
Right.
But again, you could still see, as much as the conquests have been made, it's a thrill for him to still go on the look and to think how many things come to him. When he's at a show, someone will just bring him, like, oh, Joe's coming into town.
Yeah.
Let's bring him a few pieces of gear, and he'll find a way to use it. But,
Right, he's not going to let it sit on the shelf and collect dust. I appreciate that.
Same. I mean, that's the point of these things. They're meant to be played. I mean, they're worth so much money, but they sound and play, and they're still functional. Why not use it?
I mean, it's an amp. You got to replace the caps.
Of course, they dry out. Yep.
And my other amp tech is Bob Dixon, who I've known for a long, long time, and is the greatest tuner of a high-power twin, tweed amp. He knows Dumble stuff.
So you leave it to...
He's the greatest, and a hell of a nice guy. And we generally don't have issues. The Dumble stuff pretty much stays together. Like, we had a problem with this one, and... Yes, I own it. I can put my coffee on it.
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Thank
I think the thing I was probably most struck by, because everything in there was either vintage or at least 20 years old. But he had this piece of Japanese gear. It was like some sort of power conditioner that they use at NASA. I forget what it is. And it's brand new. It's like this glistening piece of like cutting edge technology. And he's like, all this old stuff that we use, none of it would work if we didn't put it through that one big thing. And I forget what it was called, but it was really awesome.
Some power supply.
Yeah, it was like
Suki or something.
Yeah. And it was amazing just to think about, because you don't think about the voltage and how much of that stuff fluctuates when you go from room to room. This guy's always on the road. and we were waiting outside, and Dan and Jake were there already, and I'm like, "Are you sure we're at the right place?" Because there was like 8 Joe Bonamassa trucks like in front. Yeah. But the guy's an institution. I mean, you got to tip your cap because every bit of success that he has in a world where people don't listen to blues or blues rock on the regular radio, this guy is making a living every day at just grinding it out.
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
What is that, 6L6s or what's in there?
6L6s.
Yeah, okay.
And it looks like Robin's amp, so
It really does, yeah.
I try not to hear with my eyes.
Yeah, well, fawn, I mean, that color.
Well, fawn with
Yeah.
the tweed, that's
come on.
That's Robin's aesthetic. So,
Yeah.
and I bought it from the guy who paid Alexander $3,000 for it in 1984.
What is that today?
The value?
Yeah.
It depends on who you ask.
Got it.
I mean, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Now, I don't know if there's ever a chance in hell that we'll be able to get him to come and jam with us here, which would be awesome. But again, he might make fun of the non-cutting edge gear that we have here, because it is a bit of a rat's nest if you think about it.
It's like, I don't buy it to sell. I buy it to use. And it's a big deal.
Well, it is. I mean, you know this. You've been doing this a long time, and there's a lot of people who go out and they go on safari like you do. They collect it and they keep it in a warehouse or they keep it at home, and they're right. They bought it, But
yeah, and it's a big investment for them.
For sure.
I'm lucky because I have a great tech. I have logistical support. Like, you can't bring this out without having proper cases, and these things ride in the truck, but there's no chance of theft because there's always somebody around.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because we have a lot of good gear in this studio, and I was thinking like it would be cool to get Joe to come in here without any of his stuff. No vintage amps, no vintage guitars. Just come in and grab something and see. Would he be Joe Bonamassa just in a room with everyday gear that we've got here, which can be bought on 12 pay if you're qualified. But
Right.
I think that'd be fun, and I think that's something. He travels so much. I'm hoping that at some point we could get him off the road and in our studio.
It would be awesome to have him in our studio.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of our studio, back to it. So this is actually one of our most popular videos that we've done so far. Of course, our Funky D Jam with Victor Wooten. And you were playing this day, Russ, so how did you feel?
I was nervous. This is actually our first jam that we did with any of the artists over the course of 2024. And with Wooten in particular, what was really nice is that the minute he walked in, you really just felt his humility. He was such a humble dude. He made us all feel so incredibly comfortable. Funny story, the drummer actually, there he goes. The drummer, a good friend of mine, was so excited to play with Victor that he told me, he took extra high blood pressure medication because he had to keep himself.
Oh my God. Just subdue himself.
Stable just to be able to keep up. But he did really good.
To make everyone smile. Just thinking about it, you smile. So with that attitude of whatever we do, we're good enough that we can't be bad at. So whatever we do is going to be great. So I'm gonna take some chances on this one. All right. How's this start? Oh, right. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna be messing up from the beginning. Here we go.
It's so obvious that he's a teacher, the way that he interacts with other musicians.
I mean, honestly, these things all started with the idea, that it was like 1 take, 2 takes.
Yeah.
And that's a little stressful.
Yeah, I remember the day that it happened, I was watching it being filmed, and I was so impressed at the way it all just kind of came together when I feel like you guys didn't even discuss that much before you started.
No, he kind of called out some sections. Yeah.
This got stuck in my head for weeks after this. Is everyone editing it?
And his voice is actually, honestly, what stuck in my head, and the ahs. The day that the shoot happened, the Hartke rig that he's actually playing through wasn't there. And I don't know if it got lost in shipment or something along those lines, but Hartke scrambled, and they literally, right before the shoot happened, they were able to produce and deliver the amp head. We had the cab, but we didn't have the amp head. And we were going to have to what else are you comfortable playing with?
Ooh.
And he was like, I'll play with anything. And we tried it, and it was it wasn't like home base.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember Ira from Samson Hartke walked right in. It was like our savior.
Wow,
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
Walk it up.
And he was actually the one, I think, that set the precedent for future jams because his whole thing was one for fun.
Sure,
so every
yeah.
time now in, whatever, we've had 4 or 5 other jams with other artists. We do our one run through and then we're like, one for fun.
Right. And sometimes you get the best work out of your one for fun.
I know. I think the one that they went live with, I don't remember if it was the first or the second.
Second.
It was the second?
It's the risky, the one where he says, "Let's take some risks."
Yeah, and that's another good friend of mine, John Peterson, who, again, when he heard the opportunity to jam with Victor Wooten, he was like...
It's like, yes, please.
Absolutely. I mean, but he's a band leader, if you will. I mean, he kind of just instructed us throughout, forgetting like to help us relax.
Right.
He was just calling out the different sections and set the whole tone, which I think comes through.
Yeah,
when you're that relaxed and you're playing with a guy of that caliber, it really helps us to be able to play to at least our own fullest potential.
Right.
Come on, some guitar. Show me what you got.
Yeah, I mean, Keith is just tearing
Keith
it up
killed
there.
it, yeah.
It's one of our buyers. Go, Keith. I think this is where Victor kind of takes off into the stratosphere, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. That's where the high blood medication kicks in. Keep him from not going too fast or too slow.
Wow.
I mean, what is that, right?
It's incredible.
I heard one time it was like a Jeff Beck thing. They said it wasn't really the notes that he played that I asked. It was like, those notes are not on my guitar.
Right.
And I think that's kind of appropriate for Victor.
You're accessing other things here. You must be.
Yeah, that's not on my bass. Yeah, see the singing, I love it.
Was this the first time you guys all played this together? You didn't rehearse or anything?
Dan was the second time for this song, and it was the first time all of us had played together in general. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you would never know.
There it is.
And that's the whole thing.
Again, next time in our new studio.
That would be awesome to have him here now that we have the new studio. Speaking of which, back to our studio for our live stream.
Folks, we have reached our final performance of the afternoon. Our last band here is called The Takers, and you might recognize their familiar faces. They are going to play You Wreck Me by Tom Petty first.
My name is Ryan Darcy. That's what it is wherever I go. It's really Ryan Dacey, but everyone wants to put an R in there for some reason. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's do that again. Take two.
What's your name?
My name is Tommy Coombs.
Name is Russ Mack.
And what do you do at AMS?
Bit of a man of mystery, wear many hats, and do whatever's needed around here.
I've done a number of things at AMS over the years. I used to be in the purchasing department where I was buying guitars, basses, and effects, and now I'm in the video content crew. So far, so good.
My position at AMS is category manager and buyer for all things drums and percussion. That means I get to buy drums and all the stuff, all the cool stuff that goes with it.
And how long have you been working here?
In July, it'll be 13 years, 12 years in purchasing, and then now over here in video, it'll be, I guess, on and off over the last year.
I've been working here. This is my 28th year.
Actually, 2 weeks ago was my 20th year anniversary.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, how long have you been performing?
Oh, gosh. Since high school. So I'm 52 now. So 35 years on and off with varying degrees of success.
I've been playing for many years.
I mean, I started taking music lessons when I was 8. So from there, pretty much been performing, even like church and stuff, since probably 11.
I do have formal training, taking drum lessons early on and off throughout my life.
I do. I took some lessons for about 2 years in middle school. And then from there, I thought I was good enough to kind of take it on my own. And clearly that didn't work out. But I still enjoy it. So,
taking formal piano lessons when I was 8, and then went to college minoring in piano as well. And then picked up guitar when I was 13, took lessons here and there throughout. Probably no lessons on the guitar front, but the piano, yeah.
My experience has been starting performing at a young age and playing bars and clubs, and then doing touring, local, regional, international, and the such, recording.
it's been good for the most part. I think what it comes down to, it's kind of like when you work with somebody, you know, if you're in a band of people that are not only good players, but you like them, it takes the bad parts out. But everybody has their nightmares from gigging, and I'm certainly no stranger to that.
Oh my gosh, all over the place. Small gigs, like solo gigs, with coffee houses, all the way to larger, probably 9-piece bands. And the experience has always been music at the forefront. It's what I live for. I love it. It's a creative outlet for me. So the theme has always been the same. It's just the venue size or the band size has varied, but the heart of it's always been the same.
Do you have any music out anywhere that people can find? If you want to send people to listen to your stuff, where do they go?
I have nothing of my own. I have stuff that I've collaborated on and that I've recorded, but again, nothing that anyone can find, and that's by design. I would prefer that they not find it.
Great.
like the bodies.
Yeah, on Spotify. I have just recently started just fooling around under a artist name LJNAN.
My music and bands that I've been with, you could probably find Hades on YouTube or Soulvine on YouTube.
Well, we're going to do 2 songs. We figured for the sake of time, we'll do 2, like 3 to 4 minute kind of rock songs. Tommy and I were in the mood to do 2 songs that were in the key of E, and then Russ said, "Oh, I have a great idea. Why don't we do another song that we'll have to capo the guitars at the first fret just to take longer?"
I do.
It's true.
I'm the diva of the group.
Too.
Yep.
And then when he said that, I was like, "Russ, you wreck me." That's what I said. Remember?
That's genius.
Then you're like, "Don't be petty,"
I
right?
legitimately forget what the question was.
What songs are you?
Oh, okay. You Wreck Me by Tom Petty. And that was the diva choice. And what was the other one? Supersonic by Oasis.
And what gear are each of you using?
You want me to go first? I'm going to be using a Gibson
speaks
Les
for
Paul
all of us.
Special into a Fender Princeton amp that was an AMS exclusive, and it sounds delightful. And a few pedals. I'm going to probably use the Jam Pedals Booster for leads, and the Andy Timmons Robert Keeley Overdrive for a little extra push over the cliff.
Do you use the 30 millisecond one, the 30 MS?
I do. Thank you. I'm using the Robert Keeley 30 MS, which is what they call it, a double tracker. So it kind of just gives a little bit more space to the sound. And it worked really well for the Oasis song, especially because it's got that little Abbey Road kind of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm. I used the Metro line from Sadowski, the J-style bass, plugged that into a Lady Digbeth, which is 200 watt head, set to the solid state setting. And yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm going to be using this beautiful Ludwig classic maple set in black sparkle finish and Sabian cymbals.
Joe is a friend of mine. He is on a work release program, so we thought it would be nice to get him out of the house. So his ankle bracelet will probably be out of shot, which is good. But he's a good singer, sings like an angel.
He does.
And we'll just pat him down on the way out because he has a tendency to take things. He's got you saw the beard. I mean,
It's fake.
it is?
It's Velcro.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, he looks like Rob Halford.
Kind of does.
He does. But anyway, Joe will be singing and playing guitar and harmonizing with the lovely Russell here. And, I think it worked out really well because Tommy and I don't sing. And we figured that these songs needed a little extra oomph in the vocal department. And we were lucky enough to do a nice dry run the other day. And Russell and Joe, their voices really sounded great together.
Then he plays electric and acoustic. So electric for Supersonic. I don't have a spec on what he's playing and don't recall it from yesterday.
He's playing a Fender Telecaster on Supersonic, and he'll be playing a Taylor, I'm not sure which model, for the Tom Petty song. We figured, and Tommy was right, when you have that kind of driving acoustic to go along with the rhythm, it just opened up that song. It sounded really good.
Yeah, agreed.
Makes it nice.
What's your favorite mythological beast?
My favorite mythological beast would be the Minotaur.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, Minotaurs are
Very
cool.
good choice. Okay.
They just are.
Hard to argue with that.
Any interview that ends with Minotaurs is a
favorite historical ship.
Favorite historical ship?
I would say it's a toss-up between the Andrea Doria and, of course, everyone says the Titanic, but that's really kind of hackneyed. I would say it was probably the USS Mozzarella. It's a really nice boat.
What a callback cut.
Well, think about it. Good mozzarella is floating in salt water when you buy it. So,
what's your favorite planet?
My favorite planet is Earth.
That makes sense. I mean, we know he's not an alien. That is something an alien would say.
Yes.
Though.
Thank you very much. I'm sure.
Thank you.
I'm sure a lot of that is going to be on the cutting room floor.
Meantime, do not forget that we are giving away this here guitar right here. It is a beautiful PRS SE. Ooh, don't you want it? I bet you do. So, some basic rules for this giveaway. You have until Monday at noon, Monday the 20th at noon. To enter, there's a form linked in the chat where you can do so, and you can enter once a day until then. Yeah. What do you guys think? Would you want it? Probably. Right?
play
You want
guitar
it?
and I want
Yeah, see, Tommy wants one and he doesn't even play guitar. The next song that they are going to be playing is Supersonic by Oasis, our second Oasis tune of the evening. Why did you guys choose Supersonic?
They told me.
Ah,
That's what we're
so you
gonna
just
play.
follow orders?
I just follow orders.
Wow, you heard it here. Russell Mack follows orders.
They're on tour, too. I mean, it's like timely.
It is.
For sure.
It's timely.
It's timely.
You heard it here. It's timely. Speaking of timely, how much more time you guys need? You guys are good? All right, then I'll get out of here.
Are you good? But you got no juice? There he is. All right.
work. You guys sounded amazing. Thank you so much for performing. And thank you again to all of our performers today for performing with us. We've reached the conclusion of our stream. So thank you to our chat for watching along with us and celebrating our rebranding with us. Yeah, round of applause. That's right. If you liked what you heard today, we've got plenty more content for you over on our YouTube channel, as well as on our other social media channels. And remember, we will be at NAMM in just a week, so be on the lookout for more content coming your way soon. One last thing, remember, you have until Monday the 20th to fill out that giveaway form. And last but not least, for all the gear mentioned over the course of our stream, this is the guitar, thank you, Dan. For all of the gear mentioned over the course of our stream, head on over to the new and improved AmericanMusical.com.